One thing that's for sure to all of us is that this life we have would come to an end. The topic I want us to discuss today is one which we hardly talk about. We shy away from talking about, but it is very important. It is a living will, in particularly a DNR. A DNR is a do not resuscitate form. That is a form which, if you talk to your physician, he's gonna give you, and you guys can sign it or not. This form, you're practically giving the right that if you get to a point where you cannot make decisions and say you have an accident tomorrow, or you're sick and you're unconscious and you need, say, a CPR, would you want them to do a CPR on you? Would you want to have feeding tubes? Would you want to be intubated? Things like that should be things that you're thinking about and putting them in place, right? You never know what's going to happen to you tomorrow. But you also don't want that happening to you and you're leaving your family in a chaos trying to figure out what they should do or what you would have loved that they do to you, right? This happens a lot. I see this a lot. I meet patients where families are being torn apart. Trying to make decisions because one family member is like, oh, I want everything for my mom. I want her to have a feeding tube. I want her to be intubated. I want everything the hospital can do to prolong her life. And then another person is like, oh no, I don't want that for mom. Now the family is torn apart. Now everybody is in chaos. They don't know what to do. That's not good. I actually had that instance in my life where my son was sick. If you know me, you know that he passed of cancer a few years ago. After the doctors had done everything for Corey, and then it came to the point when they said, okay, we've done everything we could and there's nothing else for us to do. You know, we're just going to refer you to hospice. That we didn't have hospice, but we had that option, which that's a story for another day. Another thing we had to do was decide if we want him to be, if we want a DNR for him or not. Mind you, he's an infant. Even if he was conscious, he would not be able to make that decision. And us, as parents, we have to make those decisions for our kids, right? Me, being a healthcare provider, I thought about it and I knew what was best for him, at least that I thought it was best for him. I went for a DNR for my son because I'm thinking it's gotten to the point where chemo's not working, radiation is not working, nothing is working for him. If it comes that time where he has to go, I'm okay with him going than me prolonging his life when this cancer is eating him up. Now, I'm not the only parent. That, on the other hand, is no. I don't want a DNR. I want you guys to do everything you can for this child, for this boy to live. I understand him. Every parent wants their kid to live forever. I didn't want Corey to die. But my thing is, what was his quality of life? Or what would be his quality of life if I put him on all these sustaining things? So it was a whole chaos for me and dad, the doctors. Where are we going from here, right? It was so chaotic, but at the end of the day, the doctors decided to go with what mom said. Well, I think it was the best decision for Corey at the time. We signed a DNR for him. When that time came, he left. He had oxygen, of course. DNR doesn't mean you will not have things like oxygen, those are treatments, but no invasive things like CPR was not done on him, and no intubations and all of that because I had signed a no for that, right? So that was chaotic. What I'm trying to say is, think about what you want, make those decisions, put those things in place. Think about it, and it can happen to your kid too. God forbid it, it doesn't happen to your kid. But those are all possibilities, right? Think about it, what you will want if something like that happened. End of life should be something that we think about every day. Because every day is an opportunity for us to make those decisions. Every day is a blessing. We are not entitled to tomorrow. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. But those things can happen, right? So make those decisions to make life easy for your loved ones when it actually happens. Because I tell you, it is so hard to decide if not to put your family member or your loved one on DNR or not. Those are hard decisions, but it makes it easier for them if you've said, okay, if that happens to me, I don't want this. Or if it happens to me, this is what I want, right? Make those decisions. Talk about it with your family first. Or after talking about it with your doctor, talk about it with your family. This should be normalized. We should talk about our living wills with our loved ones so that they are not left wondering what we want when that time comes. This is the homework for you. What would you want during end of life for you? Think about it, and we'll talk about this next time.